everybody. Welcome back to another conversation with me. I am Larita Rose, and on this channel, we talk everything about grace, growth, and grit. Okay, what that means for me is I'm all about growing our mindsets, our beliefs, our faith, and I'm all about hard work and discipline, as well as giving ourselves grace through our journey of elevation, of growth, of just learning who we are and becoming our true authentic self. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into today's conversation. So today is all about forgiveness. And the title is called The Power of Forgiving, Moving Towards Your God-Given Calling. Before I begin, I'm quickly going to just go over what that means to me, what this title means to me. So I found out as I was growing and trying to get more into becoming who I want to become, trying to be the person that I know that God has called me to become, I realized there were some things that restricted me from growing, things that restricted me from understanding what it was that God wanted for me. And there were multiple things that kind of held me back, but one of the things in particular that I really was like, okay, this is something that you have to deal with, is forgiving myself. Forgiving myself. I know this video may seem like, oh, you have to forgive others. No, it's self-forgiveness, the power of self-forgiveness, because you wouldn't believe how many times I've talked myself out of opportunities, how many times that I felt like I wasn't ready, how many times that I counted myself out because I didn't really trust myself. And the reason why I didn't trust myself is because there have been so many times that I put myself in positions that put shame to me, that made me feel less than. There were so many times that I tried out for different things or went for different opportunities, and it failed. It kind of fell through. It didn't become successful. And there were so many times, like even down to buying courses where I would purchase courses and I wouldn't apply it to my life. I just felt like there were so many failures in my life that I didn't really trust my decision-making skills. Like I didn't trust myself to make the right decision. I didn't trust myself to go for opportunities and give it my all. There were times where I started and quit. So there were just so many things where I wasn't really showing up for myself. So many times where that kind of gave me a perception of who I was. Like, this is who I am. Like, I quit things. I don't put forth full effort. I get overwhelmed. I started talking to myself or putting things on myself because of what I was going through in the moment. And so with that, I realized that when God will call me towards some certain things, when he says, hey, I need you to go here, I need you to do this business, mainly this YouTube channel was a really big one. When God was like, I need you to do this YouTube channel, I started thinking of so many excuses. It's going to take too long. I don't know a lot about YouTube. I don't have a right camera. I don't have the best lighting. I don't have the best environment. I don't really know what to say. I don't like the way I talk. And more so, there's not that much money. I'll be just spending all my time. I don't have enough time. Just all these excuses, which what it really was is I've been there before. I've already done the YouTube. I wasn't able to stay consistent. I didn't see any fruit from it because I wasn't consistent. So why would I try again? I know myself. I already did this. I've been there, done it. Why would I do it again? And so just like anyone, even if you were in a relationship and that person kept cheating on you, or you had a family member who kept stealing from you, whatever it is, when someone keeps doing something over and over and over, you kind of just expect that from them. And you don't trust them. And you kind of say you forgive them because it's you don't hold no harsh feelings. It's not like I hated myself to that extent, at least I could think or say. But it's kind of like, I just know you now. I know you. And I know you will probably do X, Y, and Z. With that being said, that came to the forefront when I was trying to push myself and grow. After I made the decision to show up as my authentic self, after I made the decision to be like, hey, I actually really want to become my best self. Who does that look like? I had to unlearn certain things. Like, why do I have this mindset that I can't do this? Why do I keep telling myself that? Why do I keep, every time an opportunity comes, I feel fearful. I kind of don't want to go for the opportunity. I kind of shy away from it, give it to somebody else, because that's what I need to be putting myself for these opportunities. Why am I counting myself out? It really is because I don't trust myself. I don't trust me. I do now, but at the time I didn't trust myself. And so when I realized I didn't trust myself to make the right decisions, to do certain things in my life, I had to realize I'm no longer the person I used to be. I have to forgive that girl for the decisions she's made, for allowing people to treat her the way they've treated her, for putting herself in certain situations, for the failures. I had to really look at myself and forgive myself for so much. The reason why I had to do that was because when you do not forgive yourself, that is when you start to feel shame. I hate shame. I don't like to hate. I really dislike shame. And I'm going to read, so in the definition is different than what I'm going to read, but this is what it says on Wikipedia. And this is what I really feel like it means on a spiritual level. So shame is an unpleasant, self-conscious emotion associated with negative self-evaluation, motivation to quit, and feelings of pain, exposure, distrust, powerlessness, and worthlessness. That was all me. When I didn't trust myself, I realized I felt shameful, unworthy, powerless. I thought of myself in a negative light. I had to forgive myself for so much to get rid of that shame, to talk to myself different, like, no, I am worthy. Even when I put myself in bad situations, I do have power. Even when I did fail at X, Y, and Z, I am who I think I am, even when I allow people to play with me. So you have to forgive yourself, because if you don't forgive yourself for your past mistakes, past traumas, past failures, you are going to be stuck in being shameful. And there's no life there. It's so depressing. It's draining. It's not where you want to be. And to be honest, if it does anything to you, if you feel the same way that I used to feel, it keeps you from certain opportunities. It keeps you from moving towards your God-intended destiny. And let's be real, God is not of shame in the first place. That's not even in his nature to shame you or make you feel shameful. So we put that on ourselves. So just to go back into, not forgiving yourself makes you feel shameful. And being shameful comes with disobedience to what God has called you to. It causes you to shrink yourself. It causes you to self-sabotage. It causes you to do so much harm to yourself, just off the simple fact that you can't even forgive yourself for your past mistakes. So today I want to talk about, like, how do you even start to forgive yourself? How do you even start to change the narrative of your life? Because if you're anything like me, we're trying to go places. I'm trying to change this whole thing. I have a daughter who's looking up to me, who's really, she's picking up on everything that I'm doing. So I want to make sure I'm in the best. I want to make sure I have the best lifestyle that I can possibly have. And I want to make sure I'm running towards my God-intended destiny. I don't want to play around with it anymore. So with that being said, so there's 4 ways that I really had to kind of put this in. And this is how I did it. All these conversations that we have is really based off of me. Things, how I did it. And I don't want this to turn into a one-fits-all type of situation. This is really just giving you my experience, and maybe this can be helpful. It doesn't have to go in this order. This is up. You need to pray to God to figure out what you need to work on first. But when it comes to me, this is kind of the order it went through in order for me to recognize I need to forgive myself and forgive myself. So number 1 was become aware become aware of these negative thoughts. Like, understand the narrative I keep repeating. You know what I mean? Like, one of the biggest ones were, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I just kept feeling it in my soul. And it's like, you'll never be ready 100%. You'll never be in the perfect position to be like, hey, I'm ready. No, it's not going to happen. You got to just start where you are. But sometimes that decision right there, it's scary, because when you did start, maybe there was a failure, maybe something happened, and you just have to forgive yourself. So when you realize, oh, I'm not ready, where does that come from? The fear of failing. The fear of failing, because you failed once before, you don't want to feel that feeling again. You got to forgive yourself. So you got to find those things or those moments where you're like, hey, what narrative am I playing in my head? And then from there, that is when you need to, from that thought, you need to do what you can. Write it down if you need to, do a voice memo, whatever it looks like. Be aware of the narrative that you are playing in your head. Number 2, this second part is all about God. So if you are not on your faith journey with Christ, if that's not something that you want to talk about, then you might want to skip to number 3. Because number 2 is learning what God says about forgiveness and shame. God is not about shame. And I've learned that as I've understood God's nature. Like, his correction is of love, because he cares about you, not to make you feel shameful, not to make you feel bad about your shortcomings. Study the word and see what God says about forgiveness and how he's so forgiving, so forgiving. There has been so many things that I have done that has offended God, that has went against his laws, and he still shows his everlasting love to me every single time, to the point where I'm like, why do you show so much grace, love, and mercy? Like, it's out of this world how much he loves us and how much it doesn't come with shame at all. It's such a, I can't even say fatherly love, because there's so many people who don't know what that feels like, but it's such a rich love, such a protecting love. And you got to really see what the word says about God and his forgiveness and how he forgives us. And I am in no way, no form, no shape a preacher. Like, you don't see me, my name being pastor, okay? I'm just giving you based off of things that I have read and studied, and these are things I know I resonate with. So one of the scriptures that I'm going to read here is Joel 2:26-27, which is, you will have plenty to eat until you are full, and you will praise the name of the Lord your God, who has worked wonders for you. Never again will my people be shamed. Then you will know that I am in Israel, that I am the Lord your God, and that there is no other. Never again will people be shamed. He wants to restore and love us. When he forgives us, he forgives. He still thinks we're worthy. We're worthy to be saved, to be forgiven time after time after time, and worthy enough to be loved. When he forgives, we are still worthy. We're not worthless. Even when we fall far short from what he has called us from, even when we steer from our God-intended destiny, God lovingly just corrects us, brings us back to where he has called us to, and forgives us with no shame, with nothing but love, mercy, and grace. And that's why I need you. Number 2 is to understand what God says about forgiveness and about his love and mercy, and how he learn what God says about forgiveness and shame, and forgive yourself like God forgives. Number 3, forgive the memories that haunt you. This is another big one, because if you are anything like me, I have so many random embarrassing memories that come up. And so many times I'm thinking, like, why would I do that? Why in the world would I put myself in that position? Like, why? And it just comes to me at moments where maybe I'm about to go for an opportunity, or maybe like something is happening. Sometimes it comes randomly, unprovoked. And I just, in those moments, as my therapist said, I need to sit in it, feel those emotions, don't fight it. and know this was once who you were, and forgive that person. And you're going to have to forgive that person multiple times. Forgive every time it comes up. I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. I'm not that person anymore. I'm not in that moment anymore. I am here today, and I forgive you. I forgive myself. You'll be surprised how many times that has to happen, because the brain is so tricky. It's so tricky, and a lot of times the body keeps score. So sometimes when something looks like something that has happened to you in the past, it could just trigger that memory and trigger that body response. So in those moments, you have to give yourself some grace and forgive yourself for whatever memory comes up, whatever memory is haunting you. And no matter how many times it comes, because it is going to take practice for your brain to rewire itself, continue to forgive, continue to forgive, continue to forgive until you get it. And lastly, forgive others too. That is a crucial one. Forgive your mom, your parents, your sisters, those who have hurt you, those who may have put you aside, those who misunderstood you, those who rejected you, teachers who thought that you weren't going to do well. Forgive them. Forgive them and release what they took. Like, release what you're holding on to. Release what that feeling is. Because when you are able to just forgive, you feel so much lighter. When you feel lighter, things don't feel as serious as we make them. It doesn't feel as heavy as we make them. And with forgiving others, we're practicing how we can forgive ourselves for the damaging things that we've done to ourselves. Because we are all just human. You're just human. You're doing the best that you can with what you have. You're doing the best that you can with what was given to you. So we just have to give ourselves some grace. Give others grace. Forgiveness is literally the key to making us go forward in our God-intended destiny. Okay? So you are not disqualified. You are still called by God. You are still capable. And the moment that you forgive yourself, you're giving God the permission to use all of you, past, present, and future. I was just talking to my boyfriend about this, and a lot of people say I'm going through this because God wants me to go through it. Everything you go through, God didn't want you to go through. Okay? Sometimes we do it to ourselves. Okay? And so with that being said, is the reason why I love God so much is even when we do things that are not of Him, He can still use that situation for His good. He can still use that situation for what He has called you for. But you just have to let Him. You have to forgive yourself for those mistakes. And He's going to use them still for your glory. He's still going to use them for what you are meant to be doing in life. So it may look like, oh, God wanted me to go through that. I don't think He necessarily wanted you to go through everything that you put yourself through. I do believe, though, that whatever you do put yourself through, He can still use it. So you are not disqualified. God can still use you. You are still capable. You are still worthy. You still have power. It is not too late for you. So that is all that I wanted to say. I love this topic because this is a continuous journey, okay? Forgiveness is a continuous journey because we're always going to make mistakes in life. Always. None of us can run from it. So we have to be in the forgiving mood all the time. Always forgiving ourselves, forgiving us for our mistakes, forgiving ourselves for putting ourselves in certain situations, forgiving others, and continuing to seek out what does God say about forgiving? What does God say about forgiveness? What does He say about shame? Let's drop the shame. You're still worthy. There's no more shame. No more shame about your past, about your mistakes, about your failures. It's all about forgiveness moving forward. So I hope you enjoyed that conversation. I know that I did because what time is it? 4:57. 3 more minutes and then I gotta leave and go get my baby girl. So let me quickly wrap this up. But I really appreciate all of you. If you're watching this video right now, thank you so much, because I know what I'm called to do. And if you're here watching it, like, it's meant to be. And I'm going to continue trying to like nurture this relationship. Each and every one of you guys, like, even if it's just 10 people that watch my video, I wish that I can talk to all 10, okay? Because I know that we are really in this together. Like, this is our community, this is our lives. It's all about growth and just elevating ourselves into the next level, because we're so worth it. And I hate it. I hate that I felt the way I used to feel. And so if there's anyone that used to feel the way I felt, I want to love on them as much as I can, because whoa, I went through a lot and I know how it feels. So thank you so much for being here with me, and I will catch you on the next one.